You're on a GLP-1. But now you're wondering, how do I manage my side effects? What do I eat to stay strong? Because reaching your weight loss goals can take more than meds. That's where Weight Watchers Med Plus comes in. Get access to trusted experts, food plans that work with your body, and habit coaching to keep you on track. Plus access to GLP-1 medication. Get started at WeightWatchers.com. All medical services are provided through our affiliated medical group, Weight Watchers Clinic. Medications require eligibility and prescription. Individual results may vary. See site for more details.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Oh, what are you doing? I'll tell you what you're doing. You're listening to the Elder Scrolls Lorecast. Either you are, or I'll be skipping rope with your entrails. Ta-ta.
This is the Elder Scrolls Lorecast, your source for lore and so much more. Adventurers, welcome back to the Elder Scrolls Lorecast. You've got me, Tom, and Lotus, and our patrons this week because it is the end of January, and they have decided to join us, as they do most months, in order to talk about some of the things that Lotus and I have been talking about recently. And we've been going over the different spells and powers and shouts and racial abilities and things in Skyrim and giving our take on it, talking about, like, well, these are the ones we like the most, and these are the ones we never use, and this one seems cool, but I don't use it, but I want to in another playthrough. And I wanted to get their take on all of that, because Lotus and I kind of sync up in a lot of ways, but there's different ways that we don't normally play the game. But I know that the patrons don't always play the game the way we do. So we're going to get their perspectives on that, and also some thoughts on what they would want to change or differences they would want to make to some of these things in Elder Scrolls 6. So welcome back, everybody. I'm going to list everyone out, and on the count of 3, you're all going to unmute and make the sound of your favorite spell in Skyrim simultaneously. It's going to be the most massive, amazing spell ever cast. So here we go. We've got me and Lotus and Ben of Temeria, Exploding Owl, Professor Bayless, Rob the Princess, and Falcon with the Box on. Are you all ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Whoosh. That was epic.
Wow.
That was amazing.
I plan to use that spell on my next playthrough.
Yeah, that's
whatever the hell that was.
Yeah.
Do you even have enough magic to cast that, dude?
No, you know what? Legit, I do not.
I think that was an impossible
Whatever
spell.
It does,
yeah.
I won't pull it off.
Yeah. So welcome back, everybody. We're getting into it. We're talking our favorite spells. Who has a favorite spell? Especially, you know what I want to hear from is one of you who has a favorite spell that is something that Lotus and I were like, man, that one's just okay, or that one's terrible. I know you've probably listened to some of the episodes we've done recently. Is anybody, like, when you were listening to those episodes, you were like, oh, they're so wrong about this one. I use it all the time. And maybe none of you feel that way. I'm just wondering.
I'm not a magic user for the most part, at least in Skyrim, so I don't really have anything to say on that.
Okay, so Exploding Owl says not so much, right?
Nobody puts enough respect on mage armor.
I just don't like it, man. I feel like there's too much switching between menus. The quick bar, it breaks the flow of the game. I don't know. In Oblivion, I liked it more because it was like, you could have a offhand.
Right. Yeah.
You can have like a two-handed.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
why I don't really use it a lot in Skyrim.
Right. Yeah. It takes more work to use magic.
Yeah.
Sure.
You have to stop I'm short-minded, If I have to stop every 5 seconds, switch between something, it just doesn't work good.
Right, it breaks up the flow of the game. Yeah.
It's funny, that's always something that I thought I always remembered liking more about Oblivion, and then when the remaster came out, I was like, nope, this is exactly like I thought it was. I really like being able to just cast it as one of my bumpers, as opposed to putting it in my hand. So I'm totally with you on that one.
Yeah, and if you're listening at home and wondering, is Lotus extra chill tonight? No, he has a cold again, unfortunately.
Lotus is sick again.
Oh, poor Lotus, but he's toughing it out.
He's dying.
He's here. He's making
Lotus needs sleep, as people have noted from me yawning, because I don't sleep, and that's why I keep getting sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, Professor, you had some thoughts on this. What were you going to say?
Oh, well, I was thinking that they could strike a really good balance in a future title by just taking the best of both worlds. If they want to have like like you're full on, your hand has the spell in it, you should get a buffed version of that. But if you want to use like, oh, I want to have like my sword in my hand, but I still want to cast a fireball, whoosh,
Yeah.
let people do that, but just make it like not as strong. Like, oh, it's only like 60% as effective.
Oh, because the sword's kind
I
of in
kind
the
of
way.
like that. Yeah.
I like that a
but-
lot, actually.
But then I had another idea after that. What if at like top of the perk tree, like for whatever this is, each school of magic has like one perk where it says you don't lose effectiveness if your hands are full.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be the perfect way to do it.
Yeah,
So you can be like, you
I
can have your
really like
paladin
that, actually.
sword and board. I wanna buff myself with some restoration, alteration, whatever. Whoosha! I'm extra armored now.
Yeah, no, I like it because
And that keeps,
it
like,
focuses. Yeah, it allows you to play like we were just talking about. But
And
at
if
the
you want to
same
be like
time, yeah,
the
you can focus. I love that idea, actually.
yeah.
Yeah, that
I mean,
seems like
in the same thing, you could have also a buff where if you have both hands occupied, it could be stronger for that aspect too.
Yeah, that was the whole idea of it. Like,
Yeah.
because the idea where Skyrim had like each hand you can put whatever you want in it. Great idea.
Yeah, I
Also,
like that. Lotus
well,
and
now
I,
both your hands need to choose a spell.
right. Lotus and I were talking, and one of the ideas that we came up with previously was, why don't you use both bumpers? And one bumper would be to use the thing in the hand. So let's say use bumper, and then trigger would be cast a spell with that same hand. And so now you always have 2 spells equipped and 2 weapons if you have the weapons equipped. But then you could probably do a thing where you put the weapons away, and then you get, like you're saying, you would get the full effect of the spell that you're casting.
That was the other thing with like Oblivion, because at that point it's like, yeah, I'm a full mage. I have all my stuff here. I have like spells slotted. What reason do you ever have to not have a shield, at least when you're using a mage build in Oblivion?
Right. Yeah.
But this way, like, there's an advantage. It's like, okay, it's extra effective if I don't have anything. It's like free hands to like do the I don't know, I'm gonna do like a Jujutsu Kaisen domain expansion, whatever, you know, like
sure.
Well,
Well, it's similar to the idea that some games have where like you can still cast spells if you're wearing like heavy armor, but the armor limits your mana or your ability to make do effective spells or something like that. It kind of falls into it. So that's an interesting idea, but I want to move away from the mechanics of the casting the spells to specific spells. I want to hear about some of your favorite
I was thinking
spells.
about that specifically because of like the buff spells for like a paladin, kind of like sword and board. Like,
okay, so you were saying something about like shield
mage
spells?
armor is severely
Mage armor?
underrated. You know?
Okay, so is this something you use all the time?
Oh yeah,
Mage armor all the time. Do you use it on every build?
not every build, but like a lot. If I'm doing a magic build, I'm not wearing armor because that feels cringe. Like what am I doing, dude? Come on.
So you go full mage.
I'm wearing some fancy robes. You know, I'm like my course banquet robe,
Right,
and my cat blanket over my shoulder, and I'm I'm sitting right next to it. There's a door right here with a window. It's only got a screen. It's not good.
Not good.
It leads right outside. I'm freezing.
Not good. Yep.
But like mage armor is awesome, and it's vibey as hell, and it gives like in Skyrim specifically, it gives like a cool like texture. It's like I want to use oak flesh. Like your face looks like it's made of wood.
What if
I also
there
like
was
that anytime there's like a bit of danger, you just boom armor, and then you try to find out where the danger is. But that's like your emergency go-to.
I would love, and I just said that I want to move away from talking mechanics here, but now that you're talking about the kinds of spells that buff your damage resistance, I would love if those spells were not on the same, didn't function exactly the same way as, say, casting a fireball or something. Because, you, like Rob said, you're like, oh, dangerous thing ahead, buff myself, go into combat. I don't want to have to swap back to the buff myself spell and then back forward to my destruction spells or whatever. I would rather...
that's the kind that you should be able to slot like on a quick menu, and then like your pure mage build have like your hands for like your fireball, whatever else.
Right, yeah, I don't want to have to switch back and forth. I just want to... In fact, what would even be cooler is if you have multiple buffs all at the same time to make that a single button push and be like, okay, I'm going to do... whatever, stone skin plus some sort of like magic resistance.
I wouldn't want it too automated. I feel like part of the cool aspect is like okay, gonna use this spell, then I'm gonna use this spell, and you just like you running through the motions is the point of being a wizard,
right?
You know,
the counter to that, because that did run through my mind, is
shout out to the message in chat.
If you were to hold on a second, if you were to go ahead and use all of those things simultaneously, it would take more magicka.
Sure,
so
like in Oblivion, where you can do custom spells where you can get multiple effects, but it costs more magic.
It costs more.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So now it's easier to perform, and then you're quicker to do other things after, but there is a drawback to it, which means that there's, it's still kind of balanced.
Like, yeah, you can turn your brain off, but like you're going to be a little bit more limited in the fight that comes up.
Right.
That's like the D&D difference of a sorcerer and a wizard, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right. So who are you calling out? Somebody in chat? Did they say something
Barky
cool?
in chat says that that 100 level 100 per for like the full effectiveness and like the hands full thing, it would be cool. Like he said that he could choose between like full effectiveness with hands full or opposite end.
Yeah.
You can never do it with like your hands full, but it's like extra good.
Right. Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Like they give us more incentive to be either like full mage or spellblade.
Yeah. I like this. I like where this is going. Yeah. Let's talk some of the different spells, like spell schools. Is there a spell school that you guys
bring mysticism back?
Destruction.
So here I want each person. What is the spell school? I'm having a hard time saying these words.
School of Magicka.
The School of Magicka that you always go to. That you're always like, and I'm not talking at the beginning of the game where you only have a fireball and a heal spell or something like that. I'm talking like mid game on. Is there a school that you are almost always like, this is the one I always use?
Destruction.
Alteration, yeah.
Restoration, just because it's always applicable, but if I'm going for a magic build, destruction.
Oh, interesting. So we're getting all these different different perspectives. This is what I was hoping.
It's hard for me to rationalize between like raw damage. Like, I don't know. It's like cause and effect. Simple thing, simple result.
Right. It's the shortest path. This is one of the things you and I talked about this. It's just like, like get on my sword, you die. Eat the fireball, you die. Right. Like that's just the fastest way to the.
I feel like Owl plays very similar.
Like
right.
I'm like that lady in the college who she always like gets really defensive about the School of Restoration magic when no one's attacking her.
Oh, Colette.
Yeah. And I'm just like, every time she says something, I'm like, amen, sister. That's right. Because I love restoration.
Restoration is a perfectly good school of magic, don't you think?
So, who said alteration? I want to hear more about alteration. All right, so
I just defended it with mage armor, dude.
You just talked about mage armor.
Mage armor's based.
I know somebody else said it too, so I want to hear Falcon's perspective on this.
Shout out Falcon.
The only spell I use in Skyrim is transmute ore. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Transmute ore or what?
Oh, I like that. That's good.
What else?
Or
what are you transmuting?
And or?
And
Rolov's Full Metal Alchemist.
So is this for like financial reasons or?
Yeah, partially financial reasons.
Wait, you don't do mage armor?
No, I don't.
You don't do mage light?
Nope.
All right, so let's let Falcon
just
talk.
Mage money.
What is your process here?
Make it's iron, silver, gold. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you just sell it, and you're just like you just collect all the stuff, you transmute it, and then you just
the way
sell
I've
it
been
all?
playing for the last couple years is I can't loot anything, including gold. So all money I make, like I gotta mine the ore.
Oh,
so that's all the money I make. All weapons I make, like if I want to make something like iron, steel, I guess silver. I've got to obtain it all. Quickest way to get silver then is transmute it from iron. Yeah, so on and so forth.
Interesting. Okay, so you create that limitation, and then that becomes super useful because it helps deal with the limitation.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, I knew there was more to the story. I knew there was something else going on there. Interesting. Okay, so we've got alteration. Ben, did you say destruction? Was that yours?
Absolutely destruction.
You always go destruction?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have like a favorite like type of destruction spell? Do you focus in on a certain thing? You just go firebolt.
Boring.
I like
lightning, dude.
So whenever I do any spell casting archetype, I always do dual casting. That way you combine the two spells of the same type to make it stronger.
Right. And then you get the buffs from the level ups that make that even stronger.
The Kamehameha.
Yes.
Yes. So you play Skyrim like Dragon Ball. which is interesting because you just launched a new Dragon Ball podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go down the fire line. You're just like as much damage
fire
as possible.
or lightning. I really like primarily fire because it deals damage over time.
Oh.
Lightning's also good because it's only against other, I would say, mages.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it drains their magicka.
Right.
Frost
also
is
dragons.
I don't really care about frost.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I
Rob,
don't like ice.
it sounds like you have a problem with this. What's
Hey, if you
what's the
live
We're
issue?
all
in the
living through the
north-
blizzard right now. It sucks.
That's exactly.
We're all sick of it. man.
We're all in the middle of a big blizzard spell.
I'm sitting
Skyrim,
comfortably in the desert.
literally,
and ice
How
is
many
the
inches of
best.
snow did you shovel? 6 or 7?
I've shoveled over a foot.
Really? Oh man. Okay.
See?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's not get off
Dude,
traffic.
2 feet here, man.
Let's focus in
Yeah.
on the actual.
Let me tell you why
Rob-
Ice Spike
yeah.
is good.
Okay, tell us, Rob.
Because it gets stuck in your face.
Rob's going to teach us about why you don't want to only go fire. Okay, what's the deal? You like ice stuff? Is that where you're going?
Yeah, well, one, like thematically, frost magic is just cool as hell. Pun intended.
Jane,
I love-
got it.
I love just ice magic when I can lean into the theme of that. My go-to character when I make Elder Scrolls is her name is Hreidmir the Cold, and she's a Nord, and she's this like giant Viking barbarian, and so ice is very much in the theme. However, mechanically speaking, it is just way superior because, to my knowledge, it's the most effective way to stun and push back and ragdoll your enemies when you hit them with the ice spike.
Right.
No, nothing else does that. Yes, you can drain their magicka. Yes, you can do damage over time. But this one just takes them out of the fight for a few seconds entirely because
true.
they get knocked to the ground.
Yes, that's
Lightning will ground a dragon.
That's interesting, but I like the ragdoll part of this, and this is something Lotus and I talk about a lot. Is this idea of like we love when the physics engine kicks in, right, and things go flying. But you're right; it's not something. It's something you said it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's how that works. But it's not something I think about as a mechanic that I'm going to use. And now you've completely changed my perspective on that.
Yeah, the tier 2 spell is Ice Spike, which is the one that actually like sends the projectile, knocks them down.
Right.
Tier 3 is Ice Storm, which does more damage, hits more people. It is technically a better spell, but it doesn't even knock the opponents back anymore. You lose that projectile impact. And so when I get like the higher tier magic, I'm just casting Ice Spike more often. I'm not going up in spells anymore. I got where I wanted.
Right. That's your go-to spell then. That's your standard, and then sometimes we'll use other stuff, but that's...
if I need to start an AoE and hit a bunch of people at once, I'll throw an Ice Storm, and then I'll go right back to Ice Spike and take a few people out of the fight and, kite them around as they all try to get up at different times. I'll knock them back down. Mm-hmm. It's the best way to take out enemies.
Oh, every time Lotus and I had an episode in the last 2 months that we've talked about this stuff, you probably heard both of us go, oh, that sounds like a fun idea. I haven't done that before. I should do that. This is part of why Skyrim is the game that we keep going back to after all these years, is because you could just play it a different way and you're like, oh, that works too. That's also awesome.
I will say it's very similar. Like when I play a melee warrior, I always stick to like blunt weapons because I like bludgeoning my enemies around and knocking them about. And when I play a mage, I just play the mage equivalent of the exact same thing where I'm just knocking my enemies about with ice magic instead.
Right.
So I have a type for sure.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Lotus, do you have any questions about any of these things? But I want to move on to other stuff, but I want to make sure that we cover everything.
No, I actually, I really like that. I mean, you and I had joked about like, the benefit we saw to frost magic was essentially the fact that it like drains stamina, so they're slower and they don't catch up to you. But I guess maybe I never realized that this had like a physics implication because like I've been replaying Skyrim myself.
It's the only one to my knowledge.
Yeah, so now I totally want to try this out. If I don't have that spell, I need to get the tier 2 version of it because I want to just start like impaling people on walls for
and
watching
the stamina is
physics go
huge
wacky.
too. Like the draining stamina is very impactful, but like the fact that they also get knocked around at the same time, they have more ground to cover and they have a harder time doing it because they have to stand back up, they have to run up to you, they're losing their stamina at the same time.
Right. I mean, you pretty much sold me with wacky Havoc engine physics, but the extras are all nice too.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you for bringing up that perspective. I hadn't really considered it that way. I'd always gone to it as like a stamina thing, but the idea of using the physics part of it really does. You're right. That is a kind of a hidden buff in a way.
It's better at killing wizards than lightning because I am better at killing someone when they're not blasting me in the face with a spell.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so
That's why you get mage armor, dude.
Yeah, one of the things that we haven't talked about
Lock in.
is restoration. It only came up very briefly.
That one's my universal.
It's a perfectly good school of magic.
Yeah,
even if I'm not playing a mage.
But here's
I
what I'm
like it
curious
because it
about.
lets me talk to the Augur of Dunlane.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, homeboy, we love him.
Here's what I'm curious about. My default use of restoration is mostly just the healing path for myself. I get damaged. I don't want to drink a potion because those are limited, but my magic is going to come back, so I'll run away for a minute, cast some spells, heal myself, even if I'm not going like a mage
Are you
build.
the kind of guy who ends a playthrough with like 500 potions in his inventory because he could have totally used them later?
Absolutely.
Me too, yeah.
No way.
Three-quarters of my carry weight is archery potions.
Yeah, it's always extra potions and scrolls, and then every time I look at my inventory...
don't pick them up anymore on the same... I don't know why I'm talking shit.
Right. Yeah, and then every time I look at my inventory, I'm like, oh, that's a really powerful scroll. I should probably use that on the next boss. And then I get to the next boss, and I'm like, gotta tough this one out. It's like,
and then you run out of projectiles because you're like, oh, I have enough arrows.
Right. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But here, do any of you use restoration in a more creative way? Like one possibility would be I have followers that heal them up, or there are other, like as we went through the list, there are clearly other uses of restoration.
Well, I'll use it for leveling armors, just like let myself get beat to shit, heal myself.
Yeah,
and then,
I've done that.
Repeat that over and over. That's about it, though. In Oblivion, I used it a lot more, but in Skyrim, it was mostly for leveling.
That makes sense because one of the problems that I have late in the game is usually I don't take enough direct damage to level up whatever armor type I'm maining, and then and by then you're getting hit really hard because you haven't buffed your armor. So that does make sense for kind of playing that catch up game. Professor, what were you thinking?
I love the anti-undead spells because my favorite.
Yeah,
I think the most fun I have playing any game ever is like when I do my like quarterly replay of Dawnguard, and they're all undead.
That's a good point.
I never side with those filthy bloodsuckers, those disgusting vile spawns of oblivion. They disgust me, and they're reprehensible, and they're unforgivable. They're not, and they don't deserve any sympathy. So of course I want to tune my build to slaughter those disgusting spawn of oblivion. Molag balls, send him back into his Molag balls. I'll kick him in his Molag balls.
Somebody should
and you
make
know
that
what?
t-shirt.
I'm going to use Turn Undead.
I don't like the turn spells so much. I like the ones from the Dawnguard DLC, Stendar's Aura better. And Vampire's Bane.
Sunfire alone is already enough, dude. You make it last longer by using the weaker ones because they deserve it.
So wait, so your whole premise here is they suck so much I want to torture them as much as possible before they actually die.
I like that.
Is there something wrong with that?
Just making sure.
What are we not understanding here?
I'm just making sure I'm clear on it. That's all.
I'm unfathomably based. If you're not aware,
he has taken both pills.
I like the overzealous
I've taken the
warriors
white pill,
who are
white from the sun,
super anti-undead, and so yes, I could just melee them to death, but shooting a sunbeam at them to burn them away just feels more righteous when you're playing those overzealous paladin characters. So for role playing, it just makes you feel real cool.
Also, I love Pelennor Whitestrake.
Yeah,
me too.
It's the most fitting for his hand made of a killing light. It's the one that's just purely light.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, vampires just suck.
Literally?
Yes, gimmick. That is the point.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes. And on that, we're done. That's it. I'm kidding. Everyone's like, okay, podcast is over. Well, actually, that's a good transition point to, I don't know why.
Bright red, oh my God.
But just a good transition point to, let's move on from spells to actual other abilities and things like that. Like how do you feel about the racial powers? Because Lotus and I were going through these, and there's some of them that were like, oh, this one's always great, always like this.
They need to make some of them better, and just to catch up, Berserker Rage is the best one, and it's not even close.
Yeah, like that's one of the.
Who cares about animal allegiance? There's
here,
a shout for that.
Let's do
Brand
this.
one scales well too.
Let's do this so that it's not a jumble of everyone just kind of throwing stuff out here. I'm going to go through each one, and then you guys tell me like, is this one good? Is it bad? And what would you do to fix it? So, and like, raise your hand if you have
What's even the Nord
idea
one?
Before we.
The Nord one's the best one to have low level.
Okay, so let me just go through in order. Otherwise, this is what's going to happen: is we're just going to keep yelling stuff out.
Sorry.
Oh, is it just fear?
let's start with the Red Guard power. Adrenaline rush. Stamina regenerates 10 times faster for 60 seconds. Good. Like, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down,
whatever.
or a thumbs middle, and then we'll just visualize this. So we've got.
I don't know.
I'm giving a thumbs up, but not a big thumbs. It's a tiny
I'm gonna go like partial.
Like
Partial thumbs up.
60% up.
Okay, so the average here seems to be about 60%. We're
Just
in the
like
50
me.
to 50
could be
to
so much
60%
cooler,
range.
but good.
Okay, what would
It's
you,
like there's zero flavor to it, but 10 times is actually pretty good now that I think about it.
it is pretty good. Rob, what would you do to make it better?
I feel like it's maybe if it also did like increased damage output, because like the cool thing is as a dual wielder you use a lot of stamina, and the Red Guard active ability makes you just be able to swing your swords in a flurry with no downside. You don't run out of stamina, and so you can attack really, really fast, but it just doesn't pack the punch that I want it to. And I would like, oh, let me give some tank like features associated with it, but that doesn't really feel very Red Guardy either. So I'd say just maybe make it hit harder as well as hit faster, and that would maybe make you feel the impact of the ability more, because it does let you hit faster for a longer amount of time, but it still feels like sometimes you're like hitting that dragon for another 200 times until he finally goes down. And I feel like if you're in that moment where you're activating that ability and you're going into your prime combat abilities, you should be able to kill the dragon a little quicker.
Yeah. Okay. Ben, you have a thought?
I got a point. Instead of 10 times, I prefer if it would drop down to 3 to 4 times, but make it, 3 minutes long. That way you can prolong the fight.
So you have more stamina of your stamina.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we're still talking about fighting, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Are we?
3 to 4 minutes. That's all I need, baby.
For those of
Using
you
a
who
pole
are
arm.
only listening to the audio
Man,
of this,
that's 2.5 minutes to cry. That's nice.
he's still sitting in the tub with Geralt of Rivia in his background.
Isn't that like the whole thing where it's like, I'm having a lady over. I'm going to need you out of the house from the hours of 9 p.m. to 9:03 p.m.
Zing!
Yeah.
All right, so here's a perspective. Let me get us back on track. Here's a perspective. With the speculation about Elder Scrolls 6 being Red Guard focused, is if you were to change the racial power, would you stick with stamina? Would you add something else to it? Is there a... I feel like it's going to be the most interesting one if this is a Red Guard focus. Kind of like the Nords were the focus of Skyrim, right? So you got to make sure Nord stuff is interesting.
There's an issue. There's a certain item in Skyrim called vegetable soup that generates a certain amount of stamina every second over about 5 minutes, and you only need 1 stamina to power attack. So the racial bonus is completely worthless if you have this soup, because you will never run out of power attacks if you just eat some soup.
Eat your veggies.
It's just like real life.
Right.
They either need to completely change how power attacks work and make it so that you need to have a set amount of stamina to do it and not just 1, or they can't have soup. So, solution on how to fix adrenaline rush.
No soup for you.
They need to maybe do something where they say, hey, you can still do some kind of power attack, but it'll only be like, I said it before about the magic, the 60% is effective thing, where like they're gonna need to give you there's no reason to be a Red Guard when you can just eat soup.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the issue. I guess.
Yeah, I feel like there needs to
soup.
be another piece of this. And one of the ideas I had is that like acrobatics was a thing, but not so much in Skyrim. What if sword singing, being an awesome sword wielder, had something to do it still has something to do with stamina, but your ability to move in ways that other characters can't and then there's something about the red guards that make you more mobile. Like you can do flips over your enemies while still slashing.
How about it just
behind
increases your movement speed, your weapon swing speed while it's active, and instead of being like a 10 times boost, it's like a 3 times like.
It's just you think everything moves faster.
Yeah, it should make you faster.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Because it's basically like the winged sword, whatever, blah blah blah. Like that.
You unintentionally having that align with like the passive enlightenment, walking in other directions, the whole like.
Oh yeah, like walking in like strange angles for the walk out between worlds. That's actually.
I feel like that was kind of like the mechanical, literal aspect, but it's like, oh, that also kind of implies a spiritual ascension and. Yeah, that's.
It would change your field of view, so it looks like you're actually moving at a strange angle.
Yeah, like your FOV gets all warped, like you're moving at light speed or something, but you're still just moving at the same rate. Like some games, when you run, they make it look like you're running faster by stretching the FOV out. Yeah. Okay, so we don't have time to get through every single one of these, but that one I definitely wanted to hit because it's the most interesting for Elder Scrolls 6. Are there any of these other ones that most of us probably feel like are worthless?
This is the worst possible one.
There are so many that I don't know.
The Nord one is actually one of my favorites because it's probably the best one to have for low levels. It is just fear.
Yeah, targets fear. Yeah, targets fear.
The Imperial one
it saves you a lot.
I've never used it.
Yeah, I don't think I've
in
used
the
it
decade
either.
I've played the game, I've never used it once.
I don't think I've used any of them.
I play Nords a lot.
Berserker Rage is so good though, man. You gotta use Berserker.
Challenge runs, and challenge runs are always the hardest at the beginning of the game because as you level up, things just get easier. And so the hardest part of the game is the beginning of the game, and that fear effect that Nords start out with is literally the most powerful thing you can have at the hardest point of the game.
Yeah.
So it's great.
I always go high elves for challenge runs because I always use restoration in challenge runs.
Yeah. Well, so one of the difficulties is if you raise the difficulty of the game, like you put it up way high, you can't take but like 2 hits from like a wolf, right? So you really have to be careful about kiting them and running them around at level 1. And then as you get better gear and you level up, it becomes a little bit easier. But I can see how having that ability ready is useful. But then it becomes less effective later on, right? Like.
Yeah, it starts just not doing it because the monsters are too powerful, so they don't even get scared by the fear, even though you have leveled up. And so, in theory, they should be still just as scared of you because you're more powerful than them.
Right.
The fear effect stays the same level, and so it just stops working after a certain point, which is unfortunate.
Rob, what would you do to make this better?
I would probably make it more balanced. As much as I love it for how strong it is early game, I think it's too strong early game, to be honest. I'm going to take advantage of that while it exists, but like they probably shouldn't have had it be so effective. And then just have it continue to work. So as your character levels up, it will affect a certain percentage of enemies at that same level. It maybe doesn't affect every single enemy, until you've reached like level 100 or something, because like a dragon being afraid of you doesn't make sense even if you're level 30. Like I feel like that would be
but it would be interesting if it doesn't necessarily get afraid of you and run away so much as it like pushes it back or it stops it in its tracks, like it's about to attack you and then it pauses and it's like it gets it has a second thought of like, am I really doing this? Like at least a little bit of a hesitation,
Sure, yeah, and I mean we probably won't get the shouts in Elder Scrolls 6, so it would be nice to have some kind of trade-off where it's like, oh, if you have that full level shout, it's going to knock them way across the battlefield, whereas if you just do a one-word shout, it's going to just stagger them for a moment, and that would be a similar thing where it's like, oh, this fear effect will make you run away and cower and hide if you're super low level, or if you're higher level, it's going to just make you look twice and give me a moment to either run or attack.
Or just be stunned for like a second or two. It gives you a moment to like get out of the way of the attack.
It's just like, and they stop for
cast
just
another
a
spell.
moment.
Or that makes sense. Well, here, Rob went on this one. I want to hear from each of you. Let's go in order. Ben, do you have a racial ability that you're like, this one's not great? I think they could do better with this. I never use it.
Oh, that's not great.
Yeah, one of the ones that you're like, so like the Dunmer ability, you got the fire around you, right? The orc one seems real good because you have half damage and do double damage. Bosmer, not so great. You have an animal ally. I'm not sure if any of you guys ever use that. I never use it.
I've never played as a Bosmer. I generally play as a Breton, and Dragonskin's great. So
Yeah.
The Bosmer one's similarly good as the Nord one in low levels because like the bears are really terrifying at low levels, but it falls off even quicker.
Right. So this is interesting. You brought up the Breton one. Absorb 50% of magicka from hostile spells. Mm-hmm. That's your go-to. So this is another one of those that I don't know. Lotus didn't. I think both of us were like, we don't ever use this one, right?
That's correct. Yeah. This is one I would like to.
Yeah. So
know why it's good and why I should be using it.
Yeah. So teach us, Ben. Why is this one good and why do you use it?
I mean, if you're using, Bretons, half elf, half human, whatnot. But like if you're using a mage run and you're coming across, say vampires, and they're constantly using, drain on you, you're taking half of their magicka while blasting them with other spells to kill them finally.
Because that's their default thing. They're just going to keep doing it, and now you're using it against them. So you find it very situational for those types of things.
Correct. Yeah, it's a very situational ability.
Okay. Now, would you change it at all? Would you keep with it? Is it like, hey, this is great? Would you make it more effective for more things? Like
I would say, if it's going into the, dragon like realm of abilities, like saying dragon skin specifically, and it's just spells, they should be able to drain your opponent's stamina for.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
around
it's
the
not
same
just
because you're getting the skin of a dragon. You should be able to take some more hits or absorb stamina from your opponent,
right?
Kind of a thing.
Yeah, so it's not just spells. It's like you get hit with an axe, but then the person it took more stamina than it would have to hit you, so it kind of slows them down, right? Yeah, interesting. Okay, that's a cool take. Exploding Owl. Are any of these on your list of like I never use it, but if they did this, if they changed it, this would make it useful in the next game?
Well, I kind of had to look when you mentioned that, and I was thinking that the wood elf racial power, it'd be kind of cool if you could like find a random animal, become an ally for like permanently, like a follower, until it died.
Yeah.
Instead of just 60 seconds.
Yeah. No,
it would fit it would fit the role playing a lot better. And so like you're a wood elf, you usually have the wood animals to help you, like permanently.
Right. I think you hit on something I think that's one of the reasons why I don't like it is it's limited to only a minute.
It's 60 seconds.
Right. It's like you get it for like one fight and then you're done. But then if you were able to, let's say you find a bear and you're like, you're going to be my bear buddy now. And then you keep the bear with you, you're going to want to keep it alive. And then that creates this whole other dynamic of like, well, I need to make sure I heal the bear. That it doesn't take too much damage. It doesn't take tank for me too much. I got to get in there in the fight. Plus, the longer you keep the bear, the more you level up, the more other things in the world get more difficult. And eventually the bear's just not going to keep up. But that's where you go find some other animal.
Yeah. Well, then too, like how many times you run across an animal in the middle of a fight? Like it's the same thing too. If you had a permanent buddy always with you,
right?
You wouldn't need to like, oh, hey, it happens to be a saber cat over there.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Now the saber cat's my friend for a minute, and then all of a sudden it's not anymore. And then, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great. I like that idea. Lotus, what do you think about that?
What if you could level up the animal?
What if you could level up the animal? That would be interesting.
That could be interesting because that would make it a little more effective because that's
kind of dope.
Yeah,
that'd be so sick. Imagine
it would also need to last for a while. Because imagine leveling it up and then your timer runs out, so now you're just fighting a more jacked out bear.
What if it got bigger too? What if the bear like started out regular size, but then
we're talking.
It just like every level gets a little bit bigger.
Its eye.
Yeah, and then it gets. Oh man, that would be so cool. So like you get it 30 levels increased, and it's just like this massive thing, but it can't come into a dungeon with
Skyrim.
you.
They could introduce dire animals like in D&D.
Yeah.
You have like a dire bear.
Think about like the armored trolls in Skyrim. Like, oh, I've tamed this troll. He's my friend now. I'm gonna armor him. I want to put like extra things on him. He's got art. That would be so cool.
Yeah, I think this is great. This is a fun idea.
That's good. Awesome.
I was initially thinking instead of leaning more into the animals to lean into like the Pact of the Green aspect of the Wood Elves. And so abandon the idea of animals altogether and just give them like a root attack where they can summon roots from the ground to restrain their enemies or something like that. Some more like plant-like, because the lore of the elves is they aren't super friendly with the animals. They eat all of the meat ever, and so they just hunt them, but there's a symbiotic relationship, so it is not like a complete contradiction, but it makes more sense for them to embellish their relationship with the plants because
it wouldn't
that's
be like
their
a
shtick.
like a Disney princess situation. It wouldn't be like that, but like at least like they at least have control over that. It's more like a doll situation, I guess.
The more you guys were talking about it, the more I'm like, no, that sounds way cooler than what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But that was just where my brain was at. Was like, well, wouldn't it make more sense for them to be like, strengthening their relationship with the plants rather than the animals? Because in the lore, that's where most of their power is.
Yeah, so I like where you're going with this.
You can't tell me you don't want an armored bear with a saddle on it.
I mean, that's also cool. But here, let's look into Rob's idea a little bit, because I think we're all in agreement that the armored bear thing is cool.
Absolutely.
So, like, going to the plant thing, though, you could have the same ability do multiple types of things depending on the situation. So let's say you're surrounded by a bunch of enemies, you cast it and it locks them all down in vines, like you were saying. And now you've got a moment to like handle the situation when you were being overwhelmed. But what if there's nothing there, but you're trying to get onto something that you can't get up to? So you cast it underneath yourself and the vines push you upward, or it creates a tree that you can then climb to get on places. Like it becomes like multifaceted,
or a wall of vines,
or a wall of vines, or like you could probably figure out ways, or maybe even healing. Like maybe the vines have fruit on them, and then you can collect the fruit and you can use the fruit to heal yourself. Like there's multiple ways that you could use it.
And it could apply all of these at every time, and it's just you're using it in like it will. Slow down movement of everyone inside the vines. It also heals everyone within inside the vines, and you can climb on the vines. So if you're putting it on a group of enemies, it's going to do all of those things, but you're taking advantage of one of them. And if you can use it in multiple scenarios.
Bro just invented leech seed from Pokemon.
Is that what that is?
So the only thing about that sounds actually like pretty sweet is just with the way The Legend of Zelda, the newest one, kind of let you like traverse everywhere and get on anything and go wherever. It almost sounds like they would be building in like a physics model around being able to like use vines to traverse all terrain rather than quote unquote Bethesdaing up mountains and stuff like that. Like,
hold on. Yeah. Actually, the way you're describing this could totally be like a cool thing for like the player character's unique gimmick.
Yeah.
I sound like such a nerd from what I'm about to say, but like there's a really good analogy. There's a gacha game called Zenless Zone Zero. There's the whole thing where like the player character specifically can do there's certain areas where you need to like focus on it and it'll revert like an item in the overworld back to how it was in the past or whatever. So it'll be this section like of plating on metal was like lower earlier. So you focus on it, it like lifts you back up because it fell down now. So a really cool way they could do that would be like making a story thing where it's like, you're restoring nature. So like this tree that was fallen, stand on top of it. When you restore it, now you're higher up and you can reach this other area.
Interesting.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. Like repair dead plants and put them back. And yeah. Interesting. Right? Yeah. And I could imagine puzzles you could design around that. Like that would benefit
that would be
being
so
a Bosmer more
gameplay.
than other races. Yeah, that makes sense. And Main Monkey was able to join us. Main Monkey, is your mic working now? Are you able to comment and talk? I'm not sure. Respond if you can. You're still muted in Zoom, but let us know. Falcon, I want to get your opinion on this too. What are you thinking? Is there a specific racial power you're like, I never use it, but if they did this, it would be better? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
The Nord and Imperial powers are too similar. It's just one's the fear spell and one's the calm spell.
Yeah, they're very, very similar, right?
I feel like the Imperials, since like, they lead the empire. They lead like these vast armies. Their power should have something to do with companions. Like a lot of these are situational. Like the Wood Elf one, you have to have an animal nearby to make friendly.
Like a commander power, like your followers hit harder or something.
Yeah,
you buff everybody.
Do you pay extra like command tax to play it from the command zone?
Yes.
What if, here's an interesting idea. What if you were able to have more companions? What if it was something like you could buff them, but you could hire multiple companions rather than one? And I know you can always find ways to get more people to follow you around or whatever.
That sounds like a monetization thing for ESO.
It kind of does, yeah.
Don't give them ideas.
They thought of it by now.
Yeah, maybe. But what if you were able to do that? Like, what if you went and like, you've got Lydia following around and you're like, I'm going to hire Janessa to join me, but Lydia, you can stay with us too. And, like something like that.
To make it a power, would that be like a limited time then, or are you talking make that a passive?
I think that the time limited thing would be like a buff where everybody who's fighting with you all of a sudden does more damage or has more stamina. So
passive of like
heals.
Extra follower,
but
and
there's
then
just this
buff from your
there's just this
power.
Passive level of like, hey, you get one more follower than everyone else does. So if you want to play like that, then go this direction.
That's a really unique and interesting idea. I like that a lot.
Because I
like changing the passive also because just they find more cash. I don't really like that.
Yeah,
passive. They have one of the more useless ones.
Right, like
some greedy little boys.
Right,
yeah,
by
they're very greedy
parts
men.
of the game, it's like, do I really need more money?
Yeah, I have 100,000 gold. This 20 over 7 does not do anything.
Right.
I will say the Khajiit passive is like really useless, but I will sometimes mess with my game settings to make it super dark on purpose, and then so that when I activate the Night Eye Khajiit power, it's so cool. Like when you can't see anything, and then it turns on like role playing and playing the game like that way. It just makes it a really cool experience. But I just wish it was actually useful. Like I didn't have to dumb down my game to make it good.
Rob, you ruined my bit. I was going to make a whole thing about how the Khajiit one is like so forgettable because I didn't know what it was, and you just explained to me what it was.
Night Eye.
I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah, well, the game is bright enough.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the game never really gets that dark. Yeah. Well, this is a fun way that I've used that too, because you reminded me of something, Rob. Have any of you guys played Skyrim VR?
This is the new Weight Watchers, built for real life and real results, no matter what mode you're in. Maddie went all in for her big day and lost 33 pounds. Emily lost 85 pounds and hit her goal while still living her life.
Weight Watchers gave me the tools and I feel amazing.
Join the millions of members and lose weight with the #1 doctor-recommended weight loss program. Lose more at WeightWatchers.com.
At 6 months, participants in a clinical trial of Weight Watchers program lost an average of 12 pounds.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Done the VR version. So
I've watched you on Twitch. Does that count?
A little bit. One of the things about Skyrim VR that is so cool is just like any VR game is actually being in the dungeon rather than looking at it on a screen it feels very different when you're walking around and you're actually like looking at the walls and the architecture around you. And one of the fun things to do in VR is to use the mods or the settings that make dark places feel even darker like they would, because it makes it feel more like you're in a dark dungeon. And then being able to have an ability like that in those situations to make it feel more real, like I'm actually a Khajiit in a dark place and nobody can see very well, but now all of a sudden I can. That totally
it feels
snaps.
very cool.
Yeah.
But the downside is like, unfortunately, you just made yourself worse so that when you did get a little bit better, it made more of an impact. And I just wish it was actually better rather than making you feel better.
Right. Oh, so if we were to expand Khajiits, what would you do for them? Does anybody have any ideas about that? Professor, what would you do for Khajiits? Skooma. Skooma all the time.
Oh, yeah, no. Hold on.
He's got his skooma with him.
Let me get a sip. and I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Is that pickle juice?
I don't think we need more skooma from
I think you've had enough.
Better.
We'll do a shot.
Better deals.
All right, you do a shot. Let's let Ben talk. Ben, what were you thinking?
like better
Oh,
deals.
you get like discounts?
Better deals.
Yeah?
Khajiit wears.
Yeah. Khajiit wears. Yeah.
Oh,
it sounds like it's delicious.
It sounds like skooma.
I wonder if there's like a perk for the Khajiit. If you pickpocket someone, you have a chance of getting an additional item or something. I don't know.
They have more on, or you find more on them.
Oh no! This extra coin got stuck in my fur. How convenient! That's just the Imperial one.
No, it's
but not just coin.
Pickpocketing.
Yeah. So Ben, go ahead. I think you and I are probably thinking the same thing.
If you take moon sugar, you get an additional some sort of like effect.
Okay, we're not thinking the same thing, but that's great.
We should be tripping balls.
What I'm thinking is, I like your idea, Rob. You go to pickpocket something. Let's say you go pickpocket a really wealthy person. It's not that you find more gold on them. You find like potentially like an enchanted item that was hidden on them in a place that was harder to find, but the Khajiit is better at locating it.
Khajiit has found your enchanted toenail clippers. Oh, how interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Has anyone ever played Kingdom Come Deliverance?
A little bit.
If you do the pickpocket,
too much.
Yeah.
If you do the pickpocket, there's like a wheel, and you have different sections for how skilled you are, how deeper you can get into their pockets.
Right. Yeah.
So it'd be something like Khajiits can just work a little deper in there, find things others
simulator.
can't.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, I like that idea. Lotus, what do you think about Khajiits?
I don't know. The first thing I thought of is just like every single thing you pickpocket comes with an extra thing of like a beacon of Meridia. So you're just every single time.
I like that.
Oh man,
you should just get like really funny dialogue options. You'd be like, oh, this instead of I think I can help you. It's this one can assist.
Well,
I do think players would get upset about just like minimizing all of Khajiit to pickpockets.
but
yeah, no, they should just make it.
I mean, they kind of already have.
Sure,
kind of been set up for Khajiit.
Yeah.
It seems weird that they don't have more buffs to that, though, because that, to your point, they kind of do stereotype it. So, like, they don't even then give you a benefit to doing it. So it's like, well, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, they are canonically better at pickpocketing than most people.
Hold on, you know what would be tight, though?
Yeah.
They should bring back beast feet. So, like, oh, you can't wear shoes at all.
Right.
But they should have, like, double jump height.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea.
Why are you wanting to look at their feet?
Shut up, dude. Don't make
Bayless needs his toes.
Hey, man.
Don't even make it like that.
He's not the one sitting in the tub with Geralt.
I think that kitty toe beans are adorable. I love cats, and I want to hug a little kitty. They're so cute. But
you want the dogs out.
Yeah, you want the cat's dogs out.
Cat's dogs.
Who lets the cat's dogs out?
We're getting close to the end here. We're going to have to wrap this up soon. But is there any other racial power that we haven't talked about that is worth discussing? Anybody else have any other?
What do
thoughts
high
on
elves
this?
do?
What don't they get their magicka back?
Yeah, they have magicka. Yeah. It's like the red guard buff for magicka.
Yeah, regenerates magicka
so
faster.
It's lame. So it's lame.
So what would you do?
Sucks.
What would you change it to?
For what, high elves?
Yeah.
I don't know,
Death.
make them like
Death?
Yeah.
They just die.
They are extinct.
I don't know. They can like.
Hey, that's
do
actually
better.
a flavor win because high elves want to undo their living at like mortal
Yeah,
aspect.
they're better at eugenics. I don't know.
All
man.
of them are in the soul Karen. They're not happy.
I just want to put out orcs are perfect. We don't need to do anything.
Orcs are pretty good.
Dude, I love poop elves.
All right, you guys can talk about this stuff later because we got to wrap this up.
Hold on. We need something better for Dunmer because it's like they literally just do like a really, really, really bad version of a spell that.
Well, yeah, they have the fire
right,
aura,
the fire
which is
them.
cool.
What they should do is I don't remember what mod adds it. I think it's like Imperious racial bonuses. I think they had a really good idea for it.
Where they have like a slave follow them.
No, it's actually like, but you are on the right track.
You can summon an Argonian,
It's an
at any
Argonian,
time.
yeah.
Oh yeah, they're called farm tools. No, but like they
It's
have a
in your
thing where it's like
inventory.
I think when you hit like 30% HP or lower, it summons like kind of like a weak version of like it's your ancestor's spirit.
Yeah.
It's like a really bad familiar that's like also a Dunmer ghost. I think that something doing like that would be really cool.
Yeah,
And
as you level
man
up,
magicka, you can summon a racist.
but as you level up, you summon more powerful ghosts.
Okay.
That would be cool.
Yeah, the
something
old
like that would be
style
cool.
summoner, like oh, you summon an ancestor spirit or something. I
Like doing it automatically when they're
man.
under duress would be cool because like everything that the Dunmer have went through, like yeah, they need us.
That makes sense.
They need
That
support.
makes sense, too.
I think
I
it
would
would be
love-
flavorful.
I would love a randomness to it, though. You don't get to choose which ancestor you summon. So it might be some ancient ancestor that's super powerful, but it might just be Grandpa, and he shows up
Yeah,
and he's
just-
like,
I was
I'm
gonna say,
very
it might just be
disappointed
like-
in you, and then he leaves.
It might just be like a Drennan from like down the road. It's like, oh yeah, you croaked and you're in the same tomb as like great grandpa who was like an actual like Telvanni magister. Like,
sure, but
You
it
know,
also
like,
could be
hey,
like,
it's
you
good
know,
to
your
see you,
grandmother, but
man.
she makes great soup or something. and
Yeah,
you
she
just
shows
have
up.
Infinite
yeah,
stamina.
but like, do
Right.
I want like great grandma who made like a mean chicken spinach gnocchi soup? Like I don't want her on the front lines. When
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
no,
like,
I absolutely
mauled by
want
a
her on the front
bear.
lines.
Yes,
Because-
that sounds good.
Yeah,
You
I
want
want her.
your
I want her
grandma
to
to
show
get mauled
up.
by a
Yeah, no,
bear.
here, listen. I want her to show up. I want her to be like,
Rob.
"Here's some soup for you," and then I'm like, "Cool, I get the soup buff." And then
And then
she's
a
like,
bear
That's an
and then
eventual soup at all times.
Hold on,
Exactly.
hold
I like
on.
that.
And then after she gives you the soup, she yells at your enemies and tells them to leave you alone. That's
she tells
all
all
she
the
does.
female enemies how handsome you are, and they ignore
Right,
it
and then she
because
tries
it's
to get
really
you hooked
awkward.
up. Yeah, hooked up with the ladies. Yeah. Yes. Thanks, Grandma.
It summons your grandpa, but it's not the man that you called grandpa your whole life.
Oh no! And then you're like,
Oh, dude, don't you
I just learned something about my lineage.
And I know you wanted to wrap this up, but there's literally only one racial
Grandma's
power we
milkman.
haven't talked about,
Okay, which one, Rob?
and it's Argonians.
Okay, how do you feel
which
about
is
Argonians?
boring, but how would we improve it?
Power of
I think
Hist.
I think we make them worse.
So here's
I
the
think
thing,
that
though.
we do
They're
the
boring,
opposite.
but it's like so good. It's just not interesting. It's like, oh, cool, they're
heals
diseases
you.
and you can breathe underwater.
think that-
I
Well,
always
their health regen.
Well,
is
hold on.
It
The
should
passive,
jump you to the end of the quest because the hiss guided you, and you're like, "Oh shit, I'm back in control now."
Okay, hold on. The passive lets you breathe underwater. The active one heals you. And
Yeah,
you
it
heal
increases
for,
health regen.
It's like 10 times.
10
or
times
whatever.
faster for 60 seconds, which isn't super useful.
that one we could definitely
Right.
adjust.
Make
But I was gonna say,
the-
the passive is my favorite passive.
Make the passive you do half health or half damage to Dunmer, and your power is you can do full damage now.
They literally
As long as
went
you're
back
equipped
and
with
got
a rake.
revenge, dude. What do you mean?
As long as you have a rake.
Oh,
they
You know-
acquire like
I got an idea.
They get more ingredients when they're harvesting ingredients for alchemy.
okay. Well, here's another idea. They use the power of the Hist to bring any Argonians nearby to their rescue when they're in a situation. Because that's what the Hist can do, right? The Hist can all of a sudden like
they're linked, so
like they're
actually,
linked. Like that's
sounds
why
wise.
that's
Just
why
like
the
the
Oblivion
cosmic
Crisis and that's
power.
why the Empire
Zombie
and
pigman power.
I think a
everybody,
better way
yeah,
to do
has had
that
a hard
is
time
like
fighting them.
it should like make your crit rate like 80% because like the Hist will tell them exactly how to do something the right way, so it'll make their crits more likely.
Okay, yeah.
That'd be a cool way to do it.
Ooh,
Like,
and I like that because you can then
Pressure
apply that to being a
points.
shadow scale.
yeah,
Yeah.
Actually, that's really cool. It gives you like
That's pretty cool.
that would be a really good way to do it. 'Cause,
Okay,
like, the
I
Hist
think
tells them
you
how
guys
to do
nailed it.
things right.
I think you nailed it. We got to wrap this up before it goes too long.
Todd, pay us. Pay us,
Yes,
Todd.
give
we're
us
just
the money.
we're just designing Elder Scrolls 6 for them.
Come
at this
on,
point.
Todd. You
Yeah,
know you
yeah.
love us.
All right. Well, here, let's wrap this
He
up.
doesn't know
We got to
we
say
exist.
goodbye to everybody. Let's go back through everybody. Oh, and before we do that, shout outs to new patrons. I don't want to forget you guys. Patrick
You gotta
G
shout Wasteland Owner.
and Mintaka, thank you for joining us. And welcome to the Patreon, patreon.com/Elder Scrolls Lorecast. If you'd like to join us on chats like this or get ad-free episodes or t-shirts and stickers, all sorts of fun stuff. And also shout outs to our Daedric Princes, Kira C, Blinding Vision, Hirsine, Peter R, Austin B, and Mintaka, who's our newest Daedric Prince. Super fun there. And if you'd like to help out in other ways, share the show with your friends, comment and leave a review, a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read it out on a future episode. And all of that stuff is super helpful. So thank you so much to everybody who's been a part of this show for so long. And let's go back through everybody individually, and you feel free to let people know how they can get a hold of you. And I don't know if you have one more little thing you want to add to any of the racial abilities or powers. And if you don't, that's fine too. But let's start with Ben. We're just going to go in order on my screen here. Ben, thanks for being here.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to the powers stuff, but I am Brandon, or also known as Ben and Tamaria. I host a plethora of shows on the network: Holocron History, Star Wars Canon vs. Legends, the Final Fantasy Lorecast, the Gundam Lorecast, Wizard War Lorecast, Witcher Lorecast, and now the newly added Dragon Ball Lorecast that will be starting up here mid next month in February.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. All right, Exploding Owl, thanks for joining us. This is your first time. I'm glad you were able to make it.
Yeah. I have no online presence. I don't do anything like this. I play single player games by myself only. That's about it.
That's fine.
That's all I do.
That's totally fine. I'm less and less on social media and stuff these days.
Yeah,
anyway,
me too. I do
get it.
nothing.
Yep. Professor, thanks for joining us. Thanks for bringing skooma and sharing with the class, even though you
You're
didn't.
welcome. Yeah, I would never share my alcohol with you people. That sounded so mean. I'm sorry.
What do you mean,
Oh my
you
God.
people?
You're not superior reachman like me. I want to shout out.
You're a Reachman that drinks skooma?
Don't ask questions you don't want the answers to.
I'm just curious again. I'm just.
I
making
actually
sure I'm
wanted
getting
to
it straight.
shout out to Elder Scrolls YouTubers that I absolutely adore that I've been listening to a lot recently while I'm at work. There's a guy on YouTube, Onyx Leviathan. He makes like 3-4 hour videos where he like talks about like topics in lore, like as a character in the universe. And it's some of the most entertaining, well-made Elder Scrolls content online right now. I just became a member on his YouTube channel. Phenomenal stuff from that guy. He's kind of a goat right now.
Yeah, what was his name again?
Onyx Leviathan. Shout out
Onyx
that dude.
Leviathan.
That guy is the best. Also, Kotho. He makes, if you want like Elder Scrolls like Coda mod content that's not like fully canned stuff, but like talking about community made stuff. 10 out of 10 stuff from that guy too. Love them both. Shout outs to those guys. They get me through awful work days.
Nice. I'll have to go check those out. Those sound awesome.
Kotho the goat.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Professor. Rob?
I'm gonna drink more skooma.
Rob, are your toes like raisins at this point? You've been sitting in that tub for a long time.
It's nice and cozy here, I gotta say.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, he's like a giant behind you.
Is he like hugging you?
That's
Is he, like,
the
giving you, like,
point.
a little...
Makes me feel snuggled.
Nice.
He's cuddling you, dude?
Of course.
I do want to give a shout out because Wasteland Oni couldn't make it. She did say that her favorite spell was Summon Spectral Assassin because it brings back the best boy, Lucian LeChance.
Oh, that's true.
So,
nice. Thanks for the shout out there. Yeah, Wasteland Oni isn't able to make it because of work stuff. And yeah, thanks for. And then also Margaret was hoping to join us, but won't be able to do it this
Thatcher?
week. Margaret Thatcher. Margaret
They've brought her back.
Ding dong.
one of our new patrons who's chiming in on the Patreon just now. But yeah, thanks for reminding us about that. Anything else you want to share, Rob?
I mean, yeah, I am Rob the Princess. I'm on the Discord, and I am in theory still on ESO, Guild Officer of the PC Guild. Shout out to Sky Oblivion Project. It's any day now, so
any day.
Keep an eye out for that. And remember to make sure that your ice bike always has a flared base.
Nice. Flared bases on your ice spikes. Falcon, thanks for joining us. It's now your turn, Professor. I'm muting the Professor. Bye. All right, Falcon, it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm Falcon with a box on everything. Like Exploding Owl. I just kind of play with myself. I don't.
Yeah, excuse me.
I don't do multiplayer.
Sorry. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yes. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us as usual. And also, Main Monkey, I'm sorry your mic didn't get to work, but I'm glad that you were able to at least hang out for part of the chat and be in the chat room with us. Lotus, do you have anything you want to share before we head out?
Nah, if I'm healthy enough, we're going to be recording Tales this weekend, but we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I feel better, not worse. So we can actually record that. But yeah, I was going to say, just since Main's not here, I was going to say we only grouped up like once or twice, but I was going to say he's actually part of the PlayStation Lorecasters Guild. So, but the only thing, just since I don't really have much to shout out at the moment, which I might have mentioned it here before, and just in terms of like community things that I recommend is, I don't know if anybody knows, I've mentioned it several times, but Camelworks, a little while back, his channel was actually like sort of botched. They got closed down by Google, and their solution is, oh, well, make a new one, even though he had almost 1 million people subbing to his channel.
Yeah, I think you told me about this, or did you bring it up?
Yeah, and I mean, that's his thing. Like, that's how he makes money. He makes fantastic videos that require tons and tons of work. He has like a 5-hour one on Apocrypha. So in terms of like awesome people in the community that I do recommend, he actually has Camelworks new. He's up to like 90,000 subs again, but that's a fraction of what he had.
Yeah.
And he's having to re-upload all the things that he's done. He does super deep dive lore videos, and I think he has a super cool voice. Also a really nice dude when I've actually met him in person, even though he's from Australia. It hasn't happened too much, but yeah, it's just... I'll do a community shout out for him because I've been enjoying rewatching a lot of his stuff again, and he could use a hand reestablishing his channel. Even though he's doing a decent job getting back into it, it's just that's got to be unbelievably frustrating.
Yeah, Google or YouTube is owned by Google, but YouTube I've noticed on like I'm a part of a lot of these subreddits just to kind of as a content creator just kind of keep my awareness of what's going on, and they've been shutting down a lot of channels that use AI, which is a good thing, but it seems like they're also using AI to identify which channels should be shut down, and they don't always get it right. And so it seems like it's a huge issue.
He had a really bizarre scenario that happened. He actually, one of the videos explains, it's like a 15-minute summary of him basically explaining what happened, but he lost his phone, and it seems like someone logged into it incorrectly, locked him out, and now they're like, well, we can't prove it wasn't you doing something illicit. He's like, I literally did not have my phone, like, and you can tell that it was missing. I can verify it with like my company. Nope, don't care. It's sort of the way that Discord, if you get hacked, their solution is make a new Discord, which I'm like, good security, guys.
Cool.
Great work.
Yeah, I have a feeling those companies are just overwhelmed with too many things all the time, and so they just 100%. Don't care about it. Yeah.
And you know, how many bogus claims do they also get? Where people, I didn't do anything. And then sure you didn't.
Yeah, it's hard for them to know. Yeah. Well, go check out CamelWorks. CamelWorks?
Yeah. CamelWorks new.
CamelWorks new.
I sure hope it does.
That CamelWorks. All right, man. Anything else, Lotus?
No, that's it from me.
Cool. And thank you everybody for joining us. What was that, Rob?
Oh yeah, we should have a random page.
Oh, the random page. Yeah, we're going to do the random page real quick. Go check out, of course, robotsradio.net for more shows on the network. Like some of the people here have shows on the network, and then I also have shows.
At this point, does Ben have more shows than you, Tom?
Yes, because I've passed off some of my old shows.
Right, because I was going to say you passed off some.
In order to consolidate.
I took one of them.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Ben
has
the crown at this point of most podcasts ever.
Absolutely. I've got Retro Recall, which is we just talked about Sonic this last week. We've been going back through all these classic games, playing them for the first time in like 30 something years and seeing like, does this feel like it did when I was a kid? So Retro Recall, go look that up. Robotsradio.net for links for everything. And of course, we've been talking about the Fallout TV show recently, and that's about to wrap up. And it's been super fun. I've been breaking down every episode and Easter eggs and lore details. And our patrons got together and talked about the second to last episode and what they think is going to happen at the end of the series. So that's up now if you guys want to go check that out. But here we go. Before we wrap this up, the random UESP page. Oh man. Okay. So anyone want to guess what this is about? Which game? Just throw out some guesses.
Shadow Key.
Morrowind.
Nope.
Battlespire.
Battlespire. I muted Professor. He's still muted, but he's yelling stuff out, and I can't tell what he's yelling. You can unmute yourself. You can do it.
He's just yelling Dawnguard over and over and over again. I can tell.
He's just Dawnguard. It's Legends.
Dawnstar.
The card game. This is.
He's getting real angry.
Card. Yeah, he's going to attack the camera. He's so angry. This is a card called Dance Partner. It is a common intelligence creature card. It is not obtainable as part of your collection, but instead appears during NPC matches, such as it just goes on from there. And then when it's summoned, it makes sounds. Let me know if you can hear this.
May I have this dance?
That's what it says. Or it says this one.
Try to keep up, darling.
There you go. Yeah. So
my type.
Yeah. Dance Partner. There you go. Who knows? You never know what you're going to get when you hit the random button. But thank you everybody for being here. Chat, thanks for joining us as well. Lotus and I will be back next week. And I believe we're digging more into some of the other powers and abilities that we haven't covered yet. Some of the stuff that I think are kind of lesser known. So that should be fun. And then we'll be moving on to other stuff after that. But thanks for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your week. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Elder Scrolls Lorecast. Check out robotsradio.net for more podcasts just like this, and join us on the Robots Radio Discord. Be part of a community of over 5,000 people who are excited about video games and so much more. Robots Radio. Games, lore, stories, community. Just press play.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.